add the agenda. Hello, hi, hi, hello. Yeah, connected. Now, hi, hi. It doesn't seem like it's work. Oh, hi, hi, hello. So for the online people, please, 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 and again, please check Discord server. All the announcements will be announced here in the announcements channel, and also make sure you read the rules, and also you will be able to see the first blood. Like, this channel is reserved for the first one who's gonna solve any challenge. It's gonna be here like a message. It's automatic, so the moment you solve it, the bot gonna immediately post it there. It just looks cool, and we might also broadcast it with a mic in the open space during the CTF. So yeah. Again, for the ticket system during the CTF, if you have any question, either organizational question or a question related to the challenge, please open a ticket here. You just click on this thing here, and you will immediately see like a new channel created with just you, the one who created this, and us, the admins. Okay? And when you are done, just say done, and we will close the ticket. Or you can close it yourself if you think like it's fine. So okay, this close with reason, just close like this, and it's going to be deleted immediately, as you can see. Okay, so this is it from the side. Now we can start the actual stuff that we had planned today. So it's the last week of the cybersecurity workshops, and in this week we're gonna dive a little bit into the Misc category in the CTF. Misc, if you don't know yet, it's basically a little bit of everything, or maybe what does not fit in whatever we said or whatever we did before, which includes programming, pyjails, I don't know, anything that looks interesting, some data manipulations. We're gonna take a look into some subcategories of Misc in a second. I think everyone here knows me, so I'm just going to go by this quickly. What do we have for the agenda today? So first, we're just going to know what is Misc, what are the requirements, what are the things you have to know to be good at Misc, and the most famous types of Misc. Of course, I cannot cover everything here because Misc literally means anything which is not what we said before, like literally anything. It might be anything related to IT. It might be literally anything, like sky is the limit. You can think of anything. And the second half of the CTF will be Misc under the microscope. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into these famous types of subcategories, like, for example, mazes. Also, data manipulations. We're going to know what is data manipulations and what are the libraries that we use to do the data manipulations. But believe me, data manipulations is basically just reading the manual and using whatever functions you see in the manual. So it's just a little bit of Googling and just practicing, not practicing, but implementing what you saw in Google. So, and last but not least, also the most famous part of the whole lecture is jails. It's not like prison. I wrote there prison just so that you guys understand what is a jail. But it's kind of similar. So we have a sandbox, we have a restriction area, and we have to try to escape it. Most of the time it's Python related because of the way Python is built, but Python is not the only jail category you can see in the CTF. There's also C jail, there is Vim jail, there is a Bash jail, there is literally any language. You can create a restriction environment out of it and use some sort of quirks and let the player or the user bypass them to achieve whatever he wants to achieve. Okay? Also, by the way, I'm just feeling a little bit under the weather today. That's why if my voice is shaking or my voice sounds, I don't know, like I'm sick, please understand this. Yeah. Last but not least, your turn. I prepared a couple of challenges for you guys, and we're going to close it with open questions related to anything, everything we did so far. If you have any difficulty understanding any of the topics we did before, or you have any open questions related to the event, please feel free to ask your questions at the end. Okay? Yeah, so Misc. Some people say that Misc is basically a guess game. So you're just going to start guessing how you will solve this specific challenge. I don't entirely agree. I think forensics is the most guessy category out of all of them, especially if you get some steganography challenges embedded there. So it's basically needs a little bit of creativity, especially in finding solutions. Sometimes you have to find some creative solutions to bypass jail. Sometimes you have to find, sometimes you have to come up with an algorithm, I don't know, like a backtracing or anything to solve a maze. It can be really, really interesting if you know how to approach it and if the challenges are well made. And this is also one of the reasons why I didn't do the challenges of Misc. Another guy did them. He's also one of my teammates, and he's really good at it. That's why I just did give him the chance to do all of them. And he's going to be here during the CTF on site with us. So, yeah. So it's a mixture of fun computer science games. It can be literally anything, as I said. I remember one time it was literally a CSGO game. So basically you have to you had to find a bug in CSGO. But the label was under Misc, but it was a little bit of reverse and also pawn. But because it was a fun and required a little bit of multiple sources, we did put it in Misc. I mean, not me, but the challenge authors did put it in Misc. So this is also an example. Another example might be OSINT, open source intelligence. You can put this also in Misc, even though some people will complain and say, yeah, let's just make it as a separate category. Also in our CTF, like the CTF we organize with my team, we always put it as a separate category, but it's not uncommon to see it in Misc during the CTFs, okay? Who here doesn't know what is OSINT, I mean open source intelligence? Who knows what is open source intelligence? Please, a mic.
Open Source Intelligence ist, wenn man das Internet benutzt, um mehr Informationen über Individuen rauszufinden. Oh, okay. So OSINT is if you want to know more about a person or anything, and you go to the internet and you literally like search the internet for information about them. Could be you want to know where a person lives, you go on social media, use tools to go through these websites, social media, Facebook, and they just look for informations anywhere.
Really good. That's a good answer. So as he said, open source intelligence is basically, just leave a mic with you. Open source intelligence is basically using all the open source information you can find in the internet to create a profile about a person, or basically to just find information about a specific person. It cannot be only finding specific information about a person. It can also be like geosense, so finding places out of images and so on and so forth, okay? Have you ever heard of geosense challenges, like geosense? Never? You guys don't know who is... I forgot his name the moment I tried to mention him. Anyways, there is a really famous guy who can find your address literally by looking at the grass. Huh? Yes, Rainbolt. Yeah, nice. Do you guys know this guy, Rainbolt? Yeah. So this is what he's doing, is also one type of OSINT. He uses the information you are displaying in image to create not to create an image, but to find where you are. This is also part of OSINT. Okay? Yeah, so it can also be related to real-world problems sometimes. Like, for example, all private investigators, this is what they do most of the time. They just stalk multiple people to find multiple informations. OSINT, you can also imagine it like stalking someone and trying to harvest as much information as you can. Okay? It helps improve the problem-solving mindset. Now we're not talking about OSINT anymore, even though OSINT, you can also say that it helps problem-solving when you are trying to come up with a conclusion out of multiple information sources. But here it was mentioned because of the programming aspect or the programming subcategory under Misc. I think the majority here did adventure of code or code adventure, or I don't know what it's called. Or am I wrong? Okay. If you don't know what is it, it's basically like a 1 month challenge, or like multiple challenges every day during 1 month. And your task is to keep solving these challenges day by day. And in the end, you will just get a score like a CTF, and it just looks cool. So it's just to learn more about programming and to practice more the problem-solving mindsets. Yeah. Also, being good at Misc means being good at weird stuff. This is so true. I know a lot of people that are really, really good at Misc, and most of them are good at only Misc. So they are good at finding weird behavior, weird patterns, anything that sounds or looks weird. But that doesn't mean that you cannot be good at Misc and at the same time good at another category. I feel like Misc should always be the second category behind your main category, because it's literally improves, it doesn't matter what your, it improves your profile or your skill set, doesn't matter what your main category, okay? Yeah, so arranged by creativity. I don't agree with this, Rev is not down there, it should be on top. Anyways, that's just my opinion. Requirements, so again, you need some programming knowledge, of course, because you need to do some scripting, you need to be able to manipulate data using code. You cannot manipulate them by hand, obviously. Yeah, preferably you have to know Python, especially because of the libraries. As you guys know, Python has really, and one more really, a lot of libraries that you can use to do multiple tasks, including literally anything. There is even a library to print hello world. So there is literally anything as a library in Python. It's also good for fast scripting. If you are trying to achieve something in a really efficient and fast manner, you can use Python for this. Nobody can tell you that C is faster than Python, so I will just do it in C. The time you will need to do it in C, I would just finish it in Python, execute it, and get whatever I want out of it. So C is good for a specific task, but it doesn't mean it's good for every task. And that's also the reason why we have multiple languages. Every language has its use case, except Java. But anyways. Also, it's good to know language internals, especially if you're talking about pyjails. It really needs you to know the quirks of a language. You cannot come up with a solution out of thin air or just by knowing for loops, if statements, and just basic syntax. You really have to grasp and touch the quirks of a language. And I will tell you from now, during the CTF, there will be not only Python, there will be other languages, and you have to find a way to jailbreak out of the restriction that I'm going to create in them. So just stay tuned. Also, it's it's good for fast learners. I mean, especially in Misc category, because there is no script. You have to learn this stuff to be good at it. You just learn multiple stuff across multiple challenges, and you build. And through this knowledge that you did acquire, and also through this experience, you will become a fast learner. So it doesn't matter if I give you a challenge which is related to a specific image, I don't know, extension that you never saw before. As long as you did something similar before and you have internet, you have documentations, you can do literally anything. You just have to be fast at learning stuff, or not really learning, but fast at grasping, implementing, and understanding stuff. Yeah, so last but not least, being good at Googling and filtering information is also a must in when talking about Misc, because you have like the whole Google, and you just have to find specific information that you need to solve this specific problem. Sometimes to solve this specific problem, you just have to find a specific link which is related to a specific paper somewhere. And it might be a little bit tricky if you don't know how to filter out the information. So that's just to keep in mind. Also, this is all of these requirements are just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot to it that I didn't mention here, and I just feel like the majority of the stuff that you will see here will be through experience. So it will be just through like trial and error, just by doing. So just by doing as many challenges as you can, you will by default get to discover this stuff, and yeah, you will just melt down all of this and yeah, know it. And nobody knows everything. As I said, best thing out of all of these is being a fast learner. And fast learning, it's not something you are born with. I mean, there is some people that are gifted, but it's also something that's also developed through time and through experience, because then you know which specific information in the documentation you have to scan through first, how you can implement stuff directly, quickly, more efficiently, and so on and so forth, okay? Most famous type of Misc, we have three, or at least these three are the ones that I did mention here. We have programming. Most of the time mazes are part of programming because it requires you to develop an algorithm or just use an algorithm, like backtracing. Do you guys know what is backtracing? Does anyone here not know what is backtracing? Damn, who knows what is backtracing here? Okay, please, mic there. It's fine.
I mean, I can't really explain it, but it's like when you do some recursion, usually, and then like I don't know, backtrace.
Vidus, can you get the board? Tafel. Okay, it's fine. So we don't have any board. I was gonna try to draw some stuff to make it easier to explain. Please don't give us some more inputs.
When there are multiple I don't know, multiple.
Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna try to explain it as simple as I can. Backtracing is basically, let's say you are trying to reach this specific place and I don't know the way to it. So I'm just gonna try this path, and if something goes wrong, I'm gonna go back one step and try again. Let's see if there is any other any other path that I can take. Okay, there is, for example, this path. So I'm gonna walk here, and maybe I'm gonna hit a wall here. So I'm gonna try to check if there is any path here. I'm gonna walk here and hit a wall. Here there is a wall, so I'm gonna walk back. Again, here there is no other combination, so I'm gonna walk back. Here there is again no combination, so I'm gonna walk back here. And maybe at the first step, I had a separate way. So I'm gonna try to force myself into the other way. And by doing this, you will basically try literally every case scenario in a maze. I think it's the next, yeah. So let's say you are starting from this position and you're trying to reach that place. Backtracing means you're gonna try this. Okay, there is a way. Yes, there is two ways. So here, I remember that I have two ways. I'm gonna continue, hit the wall, then come back. Okay, here I don't have any other way, so I'm gonna continue coming back until I reach this step where I had two ways. So I'm gonna continue walking. Maybe I'm gonna go here, reach a dead end, and then start and choose the next path. And by doing this, you will literally, I mean, if we imagine this as the worst case scenario, which means you did cross literally everything until you found the real path. At the end, it will look like you did traverse the whole maze. And backtracing is basically just writing an algorithm that does this recursively. So you're gonna keep trying the paths recursively to the point where at some point you have to reach the end if it was solvable. Solvable means this thing is not completely closed like this. Like if we close it like this, it will be unsolvable, and at the end we should paint the whole maze because we painted the whole maze and we didn't find any path. Okay? Does it make sense? Or does anyone still not understand what is backtracing? Okay, good. So the first part, I said mazes. It's also a small part of programming. Programming can literally be anything related to programming. So anything that requires algorithms, I don't know, like counting a number of letters in a string. This is super easy, but I'm just saying. It can be literally anything that can be solved via an algorithm, okay? Second is jails. People that were here during the web lecture, what are the jails? Or if you were just paying attention to what I was saying in the past 30 minutes, you should know what are jails. Someone tell me what are jails, please.
That's specific restrictions that are per the challenge. So, for example, if you want to exploit a website and you have to put some input, but there's like the braces are filtered out or something like this, you have to find a way around to still make your code execute the right way. Yeah,
that's correct. That's correct. Jails are basically restrictions in a code environment. That's it. As simple as this. Restrictions in a code environment. They could be in Python. They could be in C. They could be in any language. Okay. Good. But specifically in this lecture, we're gonna do only Python jails, just because they are the easiest and the most beginner-friendly ones out of all. Also because Python is an easy language. So last is data manipulations like images. So I prepared a couple of stuff. You guys have to know, also during the CTF, you guys have to know how to read images via code, not to use any website, like just do it yourself in code and using libraries. Get, for example, some specific data from the image, get a specific pixel color from an image, stuff like this, okay? So all of these are different subcategories of Misc, and yeah, now we're going to discover each one of them one by one. Now, what are the mazes? Again, mazes are programming tasks that require problem-solving skills. Yeah, this is so obvious. You need to know some algorithms like backtracing. We already talked about backtracing. Who can explain to me backtracing now? Okay, Donk again, second chance.
Yeah. If there are multiple scenarios in the code execution, you execute everything with order. So
yeah, that's already it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Also, by the way, there is a common misconception. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nice. That's, yeah. Here you go. You guys have a board now. Nice. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Oh. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Good. I was asking what is backtracing, right? So, yeah, there is a misconception that people think you always solve backtracing problems with recursion. No, literally any recursive challenge can be solved with for loops or while loops or any loop. You just have to make the loop runs infinitely until a specific condition is met. I mean, this is the way that recursion also works. You just have a specific condition that will stop the recursion. And actually, the only thing that might make you choose recursion instead of a normal for loop is when you really need the callback of the functions. Do you guys know what are callbacks of the functions? How are they being popped from the stack? The thing we did in Pound. Please?
You mean like when you call functions and you call a function in that function, and you mean the functions that backtrace, basically?
Yes. So basically, if you have this is a function here, and at some point we called another function. So this function will become here. Let's just say it's the same function, but for the computer, it doesn't look like it's the same function. It just looks like it's another code block added there. Now, let's say you finish the execution what you had here. When you are going back, you still have to execute this stuff. Some people think that when you call the function another time, you will just finish this and finish. Like, you will always have to call these parts here. And they are in order of the stack. So if we are calling here the function again over and over and over, at some point, you have to start executing this stuff in order. And the order is from left to right. So it's the top of the stack first, pop. That's why we call it a stack, because you're always popping from the top of the stack. Every time you pop, you have to execute. And this is so recursion like problems that you can solve with it. Like, if you just need to satisfy a specific condition within a loop or something like this, it's better to just have a while true with a break inside. Okay? Also, some people will say that recursion and loops are kind of similar, so there is no delay between them. Yes, but under the microscope, loops are faster than this. Can someone tell me why loops are faster than recursions? Please? Or, yeah. Just went there, yeah?
With recursion, the operating system always has to build new stack frames and has to pop them. Good.
I like this answer. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
I mean, that's basically it. There's like a function called overhead, and
yeah. Good. Anyone have any addition? Okay, nice. Yeah. So as they said, it's really expensive to keep calling the function over and over, because in loops, you are basically just jumping in the same code block. So jumping for the CPU is super fast. It's super efficient. And if you want to imagine it when it will create an overhead, embedded systems, for example. Do you know how much it will cost you an embedded system to run in recursion? This is literally cursed as a solution in an embedded system environment. It's really cursed. You can never use something like this. Also, this will crash your program at some point because your stack will be failed and will just smash it. You understand what I mean? Because here you are adding new stack frames every time in the stack. Here, no. Here you are just jumping. Here it might, like, I don't know, your CPU might be overloaded, or here you will also run into a problem, but it's not going to be sooner than this. Okay? So this is backtracing, and this is like the type of the solutions you do to find the shortest path in a maze. There is some other algorithms. This is not the only algorithm. This is just one of them, the most famous one. That's why I wrote it there. Okay? Let's continue. Okay, now we have data manipulations. Can someone tell me which type of data can we manipulate without breaking the data? Please?
Images.
Yeah, good. Images. You can change the pixel color and nothing gonna break down. But it will break if you change the header. So all of these files, they're not gonna break if as long as you don't touch the header. Can someone tell me again what is the header file? Please?
Contains some meta information and some checksums.
Yeah, good. So the header always contains information related to the file, which makes the CPU, which makes the job of the CPU easier. So the CPU will by default understand which type of file it is trying to open, which type of file is trying to execute, or which type of file is trying to modify, and things like this, okay? So as long as you don't touch, I mean, there is also some parts in metadata you can modify without breaking the file, but then you require a deep understanding of the anatomy of the file. And this is so file specific dependent. So if we are talking, for example, about, let's say, ELF binaries, you can go to the metadata, like the main metadata. There is some null bytes in the header. You can just modify them and put whatever you want there. It's not gonna break the program. But if you touch, for example, the first ELF part, you know what I'm talking about. The first ELF. Every ELF file starts with these bytes. These are called magical bytes. If you try to modify any of these with anything garbage, the file is not going to be able to be read because this thing doesn't make sense for the CPU, even though the whole file is correct, except this part. You know what? You understand what I mean, right? So again, there is a lot of files you can modify, mainly in the body, not the header, the body, including images, PDFs, things like this. You can always modify them without breaking the file. And you do this through libraries, through different libraries in Python. You can also read URL from QR code. You don't need your phone to do it. You can just do it yourself in the code because even your phone is using an algorithm in the background. It is super easy if you can use libraries in Python. Yeah, you can also read pixels from images. Yeah, most of the time, these type of challenges can be solved like almost instantly as long as you know which library you're going to use. Because the moment you know the library, you're just going to go to the documentation, see what you need, use it, and you are done. Okay? There is many libraries. These two, at least you will need them during the CTF. I can tell you from now. These two, you have to know them beforehand. PyZBar and also OpenCV. You need them at the very least. These two at the very least. There is some others like pwntools. I did mention them already a couple of times. Maybe I will add a challenge related to Z3, but I didn't add it yet. I have it ready, but I didn't add it yet. So it will be. I will add it in case everyone solved, like not everyone, but if many people solved all the reverse challenges, I will add it. So, yeah. Yeah, so I didn't find any suitable meme for this. So, yeah, I just added this here. It really doesn't match the content, but whatever. Yeah, exercises. Now, it's your turn, guys. So, there I have 3 tasks for you guys to do them right now. You just need Python and a computer and a brain, of course, to solve these 3. First one is just load the image of 42 from the main website and just read the color of pixel 1463. You know what is 1463? It's just X and Y. And do it without ChatGPT. I know the solution of ChatGPT already. If you show me a solution of ChatGPT, I'm going to be disappointed. Second one, just set up a local server. You can do it either with NC or any way. Did someone say anything? Doesn't matter. I just want your code to work. Just give me 1463 of a specific image. And yeah, second thing, set up a local server and connect to it using pwntools in interactive mode. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to think again what we did in reverse and Pound and also crypto. We talked about pwntools multiple times. Last but not least, read the QR code of our cybersecurity day and give me the URL in Python. You know which QR code I'm talking about, right? Just Google any QR code and just give me the URL out of it. They just make it as simple as we can. And you guys have, for all the three, how much should I give you? 3 minutes for every task? Okay, 5 minutes for every task. So 15 minutes in total. What time is it? Okay, so you guys have until 3 p.m. sharp, okay? So, okay, yeah, time is up. I just want to know first, which type of difficulties did you have first? Who had difficulties running Python? Like nothing with the code, running Python. Okay, good. Who had difficulties finding solution? Okay. Who had difficulties writing the code? Who had difficulties reading the documentation? Who did open the documentation first? Okay, good. I will try to show you guys on the fly how you find solution, how to write them instead of showing you the solution. So, first thing is the keywords. The keyword we have here is finding a color of a pixel from an image. So, we're just gonna find like how to get color of pixel from an image in Python. Like that's the most straightforward thing. So you see here there's a function called getPixel, and you see it's actually doing what we are looking for. You click here, you see directly the code that does it. You just copy it like this. Just go here. I'm not kidding. You just do this, and I don't know, foo, py, paste it. Just say here there is like a specific, here I'm creating a new image with like this specific stuff. You can here just get rid of this and give it like some real code, like some real picture, some real image. And you basically just demos, where is this? Yeah, it's under demos. And you just run it like this and you get the color image. It's really about Googling. Most of these tasks in Misc, it's just about Googling. And Googling, you have to find first the keywords. That's why I said you have first to see that here, where is it? That here, it states color of a pixel. So you basically just Google color of a pixel. If you want to do some more complicated stuff and you read like just a couple of words, then you start finding a library, because most of the time if it's something complicated, let's say for example you are trying to get only the pixels that are top left, like the first arrow at 0. If you want to do something like this, there is so little chance that you're gonna find a code by default in the internet that does it. So what you do, you just Google something similar, how to get a pixel of a color, and then when you get a pixel of a color solution like this, you just Google the library. So you see, you do like this, library, just, it's called Pillow, this is the main name of the library, and you just start reading, like here, the handbook, I think this was the handbook here. Yeah, just start reading here and looking for the information that you actually need. Or you can use the search. Here, let's say pixel, let's look for pixel. Pixel, axis, pixel. This is not what I'm looking for. Tutorial. Maybe, yeah. Here, pixel. Here it's converting. Here multiple, each pixel by 20. Just from this, you see like multiple chunks of code what they are doing with the description. And out of this, you actually find specific lines that you actually need to do a specific thing. Later on, if it's like super complicated, you can use the AI. You can use ChatGPT and tell him, hey, I want to get this, use this and use that, and try this library and this and that. This way, at the very least, the AI will understand what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve. I'm not saying this is the best thing you can do, but if you're trying to be optimized and you know how to do this stuff on your own, it's good to use AI. If you don't know how to do them on your own manually, it's good to read the documentation first before doing anything. So yeah, this is really what is it about. This is like the first thing. Second task, what was it again? I think set it up on local server. So you're just gonna look how to set up a local server with INC. You can do it with Python, but I'm just gonna do it with INC. Yeah? Someone ask something? Try this. It's literally one command. I remember it was INC LV localhost or something like this. Yeah, literally this. You only need this. You just do this. This will literally start listening right now on localhost 1234 port. I have a server running, and it's literally interact as a normal server. Let's look. Now, if I do nc localhost 1234, I can literally write something here, go to the other terminal, and see it. You see it here? I will just do it here so that you guys can see it both in one screen. nc localhost 1234, and here I can write whatever. It will be sent to the other side. Okay, something that went wrong. Let me just start it again. Localhost 1234. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Hello. You see it on the other side, which means right now I'm officially connected to the other side. Now, let's write some code that does this. I already gave the hint that you have to use pwntools. So from pwn import all. And now I said do it in the interactive mode. If you don't know how to do it in the interactive mode, you can just Google it. How to set up, how to connect with pwntools in interactive mode, something like this. And you just see it here, like literally this. Here they're doing it with process because they're running something on the fly. We need the remotes because we are connecting to something on the remotes, and you just need here localhost 1234, and it should do the same thing. So let me close this. Oh, it's already closed here because why? Do you guys know why the other server was closed? If you did IRC and web server, you have to know why. What is the limiter of a request in socket programming? Good. And Control D in Netcat is actually doing the same thing. So \r\n is the limiter of every line in WebServe, IRC, anything related to socket programming. Keep this in mind, especially if you are doing pwn, because sometimes you will not see it, and you will see like there is a missing character, and you are not going to understand why. Sometimes the reason is basically this, \r\n. I did go through this error before, that's why I just remembered it. Yeah, so I will set up a server again here. Now we're going to use our foobar. Foo here, import everything. I think I have to install. Yeah, I have to install it. Also, do you guys know how to install packages in Vim with Pipe3? Everyone knows, right? Yes, pip3 install. If it didn't work, it means you have a newer version. Let's see if it will work with me. If it didn't work, it means you have a newer version, and then you have to set up an environment. I have already an environment set up here, venv, and you just have to activate it. Do you guys know what is a virtual environment of Python? Does anyone here not know what is the virtual environment in Python? Can someone explain it? Yeah, please. Here.
Basically, when you install packages, normally with pip, there's like a global environment installed on the computer, and that's where all the packages will be stored. But for example, you have a specific project and you don't want to install all the Python packages like globally. You create a specific environment, it's like usually a folder, and you activate this environment with a command, and then when you use pip, the packages will be installed into that folder, into that specific environment.
Good. Yeah, that's correct. So when you do pip3 list, it basically tells you all the packages that are installed. Now, these packages that you see, they are installed locally in my virtual environment. They're not globally because I am inside the virtual environment. If I go out and I do the same thing, you might see a different thing because the other stuff are installed locally. If you are sure, and this is this is an old thing, it's not something new. The new thing is that right now pip3 is actually limiting you and does not allow you to install literally anything with pip3. So if you want to force it and install it, you have to install with apt if it is your if your distribution is Debian if it's a not a fork, but if it's a derivative of a Debian, your package manager will be ept, and then you can do ept install the Python 3 dash and then the name of the package. If it exists there. If it exists there, it means it is maintained by developers, it's standard, it's not something just from the internet. And yeah, so always, if you are working locally, try to use Venth. It's also good to not have a lot of garbage packages that you don't need. Okay? Now that we installed the thing we wanted to install, let's run our code again. So from Pwn, didn't I install pwntools just now? Okay, it's proc while okay, these are just common Python packages issues. I'm gonna just go outside of my environment and try to do it because I'm pretty sure I have it installed locally. It was deleted. Anyways, if you have pwntools installed, this should work like immediately. You just connect to the remote, which is localhost 1234. In our case scenario, we did set it up with NC. And interactive mode basically means you will be like when I do like something like this. So if I do NC, yeah. So if I do something like this, I did set up a server. If I connect to it like this, localhost 1234, this thing, same right now behavior is done by this. Like literally the same behavior. It's not using NC, it uses sockets directly, but it's doing the same behavior. So if you will see here like something like this, like a $sign, and after it you can write anything and you will see it on the other side. Does this make sense? QR code is literally the same thing. You're just gonna Google how to read QR code from URL, and I'm pretty sure there is already a lot of code that already exists that does this specific thing. Okay? Try to always find keywords and Google keywords instead of Googling the same thing. Like instead of Googling everything that you're trying to do, find from keywords your way. Like what I'm saying right now is mostly not related only to what I did give you guys, but in general, because the problems in general, they're not always as simple as this. Okay? Okay, so these were practice. Try to do these again, okay? Everyone do these again after the lecture. Now, jails. Actually, I made this this meme because I like C jails more than Python jails, because I like C quirks. I'm not sure if I did tell you guys this before. I think I did. Which one of these? Nobody says anything, please. Which one of these is correct C syntax? Let's say you have an array, right? And you are trying to access the index 12. Which one of them is correct? This or this? Both correct. Does everyone know why? Do you know why? Yes, you can check it online. Yes. Can you tell us why, Mike? What does this translate to?
It translates to just adds the address to the number 12. So in that case, it's address 12 plus the address. Here it's address plus 12. So
yeah, exactly. This thing in C, it's literally being translated to the same thing. It just means the first one means 12 plus the address of R. Address of R. Second thing, it means address of R plus 12. And plus is commutative. It means if you change the position, the order, it's not going to change anything. That's why this works. And this is so fascinating. The first time I saw this in C, I was like, what the hell? It's like, I never learned C before. And there's some more stuff in C. I'm telling you, I prepared the challenge. It will mind blow you when you see it when you see the solution if you didn't figure it out on your own. Also,
there is like one problem, so it's
yeah,
plus RGF and it's not like
I'm just saying the address here so that people understand. This is not the correct syntax. I'm just saying here to make it simpler to understand. Here you have the pointer to the address of R plus 12. 12 is the offset, okay? So if you are looking at the stack, and this is like where R starts, it's actually linear. All arrays are basically linear, so every position can be calculated from the base. And this is how this stuff actually works, okay? Good. As I said again, CGL, you will see it in the CTF. I hope you guys will solve it. If you don't, the solution will blow your mind, I'm pretty sure, because it did blow my mind too when I saw it in the first place. So yeah, there's a lot of quirks in C. Like this, or which example? No, I'm not gonna give you any examples. No. I cannot spoil the fun, especially it's a CGL. Like I made this challenge with love. I cannot just spoil it like this. But it will be good. It will be good. Don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm not sure if it will be in the CTF or no. Do you know that instead of brackets like this in C, you can actually write them with this? I didn't say anything. Just Google it. It's not gonna work by default. You need a flag for this, but I'm not gonna say which flag, and I'm not gonna say anything else. Just Google it later, okay? There is a lot of quirks in C that most people don't understand and don't know. Not don't understand, but don't know. So that's why I like C more than CGLs more than pyjails. But now we're gonna talk in general about jails, and then we're gonna dive into Python jails and see if you guys did grasp anything in the last lecture. And we're gonna build upon a new knowledge related to Python internals, especially C Python. Okay? C Python doesn't mean C and Python. C Python is another thing. Okay, so it's a subcategory of Misc. It's a here the language has a sandbox of limited functionalities. We already said this, and the player has to leverage what is available only to achieve RCE or in an intended behavior. So do you guys know what is RCE? Here. He didn't say anything yet.
It's a remote code execution.
Yes, a remote code execution. Who can define what is a remote code execution? There? Okay.
If you have control over some other device somewhere else that you shouldn't have access to.
Good. That's the right answer. Basically, remote code execution, you have execution on another machine which you're not supposed to have access to. Let's say, for example, in Pound, you pound the system, you found the buffer overflow, you did call system, now you have access to the server. This is an RCE, okay? Who doesn't know what is an RCE anymore? Okay, good. The most famous one out of all the jails is a Python jail. It's just because of how Python is built and because Python is literally everywhere. But there is also Vim jail, as I said, Bash jail, Ruby jail, there's a Rust jail, there is Lua jail, there's JavaScript jail. These are just the languages that I saw challenges in CTFs before. Like these languages, I'm confident that there is jails, you can create a jail out of them. But I'm pretty sure you can create it out of any language because a jail is basically just a sandbox. Okay, so this is jails in general. Now we will have pyjails. Do you guys remember this example from last week? Does anyone here? Okay, I think some people didn't come last week, that's why they don't know. So who understands this and can explain it? Come on, please.
So as I understand in Python, like every object is connected to a lot of other object and has like metadata about it.
Mm-hmm.
And for the object of like an empty string, you're accessing the class inside it and then getting to subclasses and then getting to the read function inside of there, and then you can like just from having a string you can execute something
This
else?
is not the read function.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is a read file. This is another component of the under the subclasses. This is a whole class on its own. But it's good. It's good. I really like your answer. Good. Nice. Nice. Okay. We're gonna dive a little bit more deeper into each part of this in a second because because do you want to say something more? Yeah.
So everything in Python is an object, right? So
Yes.
the string is basically an object, and then so we go into the class register, and then we go into the origin of the classes, basically.
Yeah.
And then we choose a certain subclass, which is another basically functionality, and then use that functionality to
What I
read
said
out.
last week, basically Python, let's say this is the root of Python. Everything, literally every object will start from an object called object. This is the base of everything. Like this is the base that object. This is the base element or the base class. With it you can create literally anything in Python. Like literally is created with this object. Object plus whatever you want to add on it. Iterator, you can create a string, int, and so on. These are called wrappers in general, wrappers, but they're also objects. String is an object, and a tuple is an object. An array is an object. Literally everything in Python is an object. Okay? Yeah, so the pyjail is basically you will be given a Python interpreter, and it will have limited functionalities. Do you guys know what is a Python interpreter? Who can explain what is a Python interpreter?
So Python is not a compiled language.
Mm-hmm.
So an interpreter is basically another program running,
Mm-hmm.
which you give in Python instructions,
Mm-hmm.
and it will immediately give you an answer. So you don't
Yes.
have to run it.
Yeah, good. Python bytecode to be more precise. Yes, that's good answer. Who wants to say anything more, or who do not understand what is an interpreted language? Everyone here knows what is an interpreted language? If you don't know, it's fine. I mean, we can just discuss it more. Good? Okay. So yeah, Python is an interpreted language. So basically, you will be given in this type of challenges a challenge, like a file, which is like some functionalities, and you just have to bypass them. The end goal, mostly like in the best case scenario, is to reach this OS system. Do you know what is OS system? Yeah? There? Yeah. This system in the background, it's basically just calling the function system in C. It's literally, this is what it's doing in the background. And in the next slide, you will see that Python is written in C, right? So there is a lot of functionalities that are by default in C, but they are bridged to Python. So Python can use them, is using them from C. Okay, this is one of them. Literally any library in OS, I cannot generalize literally any because maybe there is something that I don't know, but most of the functions in OS, they're coming from C. And this is our end goal, to run system, because system means we have full control. We can run literally any command, ls, cat, whatever, any command, shell, bash, anything. But sometimes this doesn't work. Sometimes we have to find a way to just read the flag. Maybe because of the limitation of how big is this array, maybe because of, I don't know, some specific elements are deleted, and things like this, okay? Common restrictions, most of the time you see that import is being removed because without import you cannot call OS and you cannot call system. Some other limitation is they get rid of the built-ins, so you cannot call built-ins at all. Built-ins is also a class, and from built-ins you see it also here. From built-ins you can call the elements that are under built-ins. Built-ins is literally anything you can, literally any function you can use in Python without calling a library, like open, read, and so on, like the standard stuff in Python. Okay. Yeah. So these are the common instructions, and the result, like when you try to leverage some of the Python internal things to achieve something that you're not allowed to do, looks like this or like this. Like this is how you can read the flag through read. Again, this might not work in your system. because this is depending on a specific language. The layout of the subclasses and under a specific class always changes within versions. And we're going to take a look how we can actually retrieve them back, or how we can retrieve the one we need back even though it's somewhere else. Okay? Okay, now this is basically the diagram of Python. Like, this is the holy diagram of Python. This is literally describes how Python is actually built. We have on the outside, like the outer rectangle is the CPython. CPython is literally the main core of Python, is how Python is built. It has a lot of C code, and it's literally how Python interacts with everything else. Okay? In CPython, you have access to everything in the system, but you cannot interact with CPython directly. That's why we always have the Python interface. Like, the Python interpreter is actually running here. And the Python interpreter has multiple elements. It has classes, multiple classes. Every class has a definition, and it all starts from the base definition, which is an object. Again, if I'm talking too fast, just tell me. I will go a little bit slower. Okay? Am I talking fast? Okay, good. So again, within Python, we have multiple classes, and every class has a definition. It has an instance. Who knows is the difference between a definition and an instance? Please? Because there is also online, that's why we are using it, not for people here. Yeah, just yes, 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 that's very good. Instance is basically a copy of a definition that might be changed in a way or another. You might add some more elements, you might reduce some more elements, you might add something else like an iterator, you might add some more functions, some more functionalities. This is an instance. Okay? I think my voice is reaching its limits. I will try to finish the lecture with the remaining of my voice. Okay, so again, class definition, and we have also instance. Definition is the main component, or like the main object. Instance of the object might or might not have differences. Okay? And also we have the object class. It's the base of everything. And within this object, we have multiple wrappers. These wrappers are basically things you do, and you do to interact with the internals of the object. For example, call. If you have an object and you don't have access to the brackets, you can use this. Call basically calls the function itself. You didn't know that, right? You can call it with this. We have reps. It actually gives you the representation of this. We have also init. It initializes. It calls the constructor. Everyone here did CPP, or there's someone that did it? They didn't do it. Okay, everyone here did CPP. So you guys know. Okay. Do you guys have any experience with object-oriented programming, or like, huh? Okay. Object-oriented programming is basically everything is an object, and every object have to be created and then destroyed. Like when you are doing malloc, malloc is basically creating an object. Object is not something physical, it's something that you think, it's abstraction. So you are thinking that this is an object, okay? And you are treating it like it is an object. I'm saying object way too many times. But you get the idea, right? So everything that's created should be destroyed at some point. And this is like the main definition of an object. So objects have wrappers. You can add your own wrapper with the decoders, or you can just use predefined ones, or you can override predefined ones. Like I can right now redefine string to start writing foo, and then the name of whatever I want. Like if I want to write like with, I don't know, with print, I want to write a class which is called hello world. Inside the hello world, I'm just gonna write there a representation. It's like overloading in CPP. I think it was this, yeah. If you overload this in CPP, you will start printing things, right? And these things can be defined under the str, the wrapper --str. If I remember correctly, I'm not entirely sure. It's either str or reps, one of the two. I don't really recall. Okay? And also one more thing, we have globals. These globals are really, really important. Globals are literally anything or any object which is accessed within the time you are calling. It sounds confusing, that's why I'm going to show you something. Now, let's say we are in a Python environment, right? Right now I am in a Python environment. I'm just going to call globals. These globals right now, it's literally returning anything that I have access to, like literally everything. Name main, which we are inside an interpreter, which means by default we have a main, and we have doc, it has none, it doesn't have anything. We have package, we have built-ins somewhere, yeah, here, built-ins, it has the built-in model. Built-ins model literally have access to read, write, and so on. If I delete this part here from here, if I call open here, it's not gonna work, because globals does not have access to it. It doesn't exist in this scope. You can imagine it like in C. Let's say this function, this is a function, right? We have some local variables here. If you are trying to call them from another function, it's not going to work, because this scope is not accessible here. It's the same thing there. Globals is the scope. This scope here has these specific elements by default. So all of these, we have access to them by default, okay? It is super important, because this is how the language actually interacts with other objects within the same scope using globals. Yeah. So again, everything is derived from object, and when you start from object, you might see anything. Or if you start from something else, like string, you can go back to anything. This is two ways. You can go like this, like here, for example, str or whatever. You can also come back. Coming back is literally what we are doing when we are trying to escape a jail. Because most of the time, I'm not saying always, most of the time, the jail is created here. So to escape this specific jail, we just go one step back to the main object, and then we just look for other ways to call things directly. Now, look at this. So we have a tuple, like this is literally a tuple, right? So if I do type, it's a tuple, it's a class tuple. If I also do class, it will tell me the name of the class. It's saying tuple, that we are right now in class tuple. Now, let's see which one is the base class of tuple. Base of tuple. We have object. Why? Because object is the base of everything. Now, let's see all the subclasses of object. Why? Because we started here, let's say here, from tuple. We went back to the base object. Now we will see literally all the subclasses. How? With the subclasses wrapper. There is a wrapper called subclasses. This will literally show us all the subclasses. And because it's a wrapper, it's a function, so we have to call it. So, as you can see now here, it's literally the whole content of everything which is derived from object, because we are looking at all the subclasses of object. You see how we are going through the Python tree. We are touching it, like we see it in hands. Now, here's the important part. Most of these things, we don't know what they have, at least from the interpreter. We cannot understand what they have by default. That's why, in this step, you have to look at the documentation. And this is the good thing about Python. Everything is in public. So, if I go right now and I do Python 3. I don't know, I have 12, I think. Was it like, I forgot. So I have 3.13. So I do 13th like this, and I do source code. Just gonna see the source code. Yeah, the C Python. You see, C Python. This literally have the source code of all the versions, and I'm going to 3.13. And I'm just literally going to take a look into the source code. It might sound scary because you're looking at the whole source code of the whole C, but it's really not. Because you will just look at the things you are looking for. Let's say I'm looking for printer, because I already know that printer has, the printer class has the thing that I'm looking for. You start Googling like this. Here you need a little bit of filtering to find actually the C code that's actually because printer is a famous word. Let's look for a wrapper. Even wrapper is famous. Let's do POSIX. POSIX, yeah, POSIX. You will find an element for sure here. Anyways, I'm not gonna take a look into it now, but you understand what I mean. The objects that you find here, they are all existing in the source code. So if you are looking for something and you are trying to figure out which one of them is suitable for you, you can either call them directly here and look at their internals directly, or you can look at the source code directly immediately in the documentation. Source code, not documentation, but yeah, you get the point, right? Now let's go back to the Python interpreter. Now let's say I already know that printer has the things that I'm looking for. What are the things that I'm looking for? Yeah, it has access to the globals built-in. Okay, I know that print has access to the global built-ins. So I have to find the index, because everything here, all of this here is an array. You can see it, right? It's an array. So if I do this and I call like 0, it will literally give me the elements that I'm looking for. Let's say 122, frozen import built-in importer. You see, every element there, we have access to it like this. And now let's say we are looking for the printer. How are you gonna do it? You're just gonna do you guys know what is I think it's called inline looping. I forgot what it's called, but this, like lm for lm in this is like a way of Python of writing like a for loop. You can just write it in one line. And let's say I'm looking for elements in the whole thing, like this whole thing. As we said, this is an array, right? To make it simpler to read, I'm gonna do first this. So I'm gonna do classes like this equal to this. So classes right now contain everything. You can do classes like this. It has everything, yeah? Now, let's say lm, or let's do type lm. It will be the same thing, but anyways, type lm for lm in classes like this. Now it's literally going through because it's deriving from my bad. Why is my shortcuts not working? Yeah, so we have access to all elements now inside. Now we will filter if let's say for example print is inside. So print in lm. Let me just look at the code again. Name, my bad. I forgot the wrapper. Because, do you guys know why this error did pop up? Because we are trying to find a string inside the class itself. So we need the name of the class to look for the things we are looking for. Now it should work, yeah. So we actually found two things that contain the printer. We have this and we have that. But we need the indexes. And to do the indexes, we're going to enumerate. Python has a built-in called enumerate, which means instead of... I hate this environment because it doesn't allow me to jump words. Enumerate. Now, when I'm enumerating, I have actually indexes as well. So I'm going to do it like this. And now I'm going to print only the indexes. So E. So now I have the indexes. So I have 159 and 258. So technically, if I call with this 159, I should have access, to the printer. Exactly. Now we need to initialize it. Now we are starting to craft what we were talking about. We crossed the tree. We found access to what we are looking for. Now we start to craft to reach the built-ins, yeah? Now we will initialize it, and in the initialization, we're gonna access the globals, yeah. nice. So inside the globals, you see the belting. Belting. Yeah. Yes, name buildings. So here right now we have access to the buildings. As long as we have access to the buildings, we can actually open a file and we can read it. So now we basically reached a point where we can literally call buildings directly. Built-ins. Was it reading like this? Oh, is it reading? Ah, okay. It's a wrapper as well. Yeah, my bad. Yes, okay. Now I have access to the buildings. Now, through the buildings, I can literally call anything because right now we reached the point where we have what we were missing in the beginning. So now you can just run like a normal open file. Like now we reached the point where you can literally just call open. Like now it will look the same thing for a Python because we crossed and found the function call. When you are calling just open normally, Python is doing all of this in the background. It doesn't really cross in the way we are crossing, but it's crossing from object back. Does it make sense? I know it might feel a little bit complicated, but you just have to experiment with it. Do like what I'm doing, like literally try to traverse the tree and look for interesting stuff. Initialize this, initialize that, try to run sub-process, try to call OS, try to do this kind of stuff. Okay? So this is how you craft your Python code without having the built-ins or with these restrictions. Sometimes you have some more restrictions. For example, this should be smaller than something, or this should be bigger than something. Not bigger, it's always smaller. Or you are not allowed to use this, or you are not allowed to use numbers. There's always workarounds. For example, in Python, should I give you workarounds or not? Not, right? Yeah. You will figure this out during the CTF. I will give you one repo only for you guys that are watching this, are the only one that will be able to, or I'm not gonna give it now. We'll give you a challenge because the challenge is basically taken from there. And at the end, I'm gonna give you guys the code, the repo. Okay, it's actually in time. So this is the challenge, and I'm gonna just upload it now, and you guys can try to solve it, okay? You should be able to see it right now. Yeah, it looks good. If you solve this, I will give you a little bit more harder version than this. Try to solve this first. By the way, this doesn't really need all of this stuff that I was explaining. This is like another idea of ways to bypass things. You guys will have, because the solution is easy, you guys will have 8 minutes to solve it. CTF is 24 hours. But right now I'm just trying to give you guys as much information as possible. So I'm gonna just show you the solution. Basically, Python, in its built-ins, it has two interesting functions. First one is called breakpoints. This function literally allows you to create breakpoints. And this system is a different process. It does not run in the same process as the interpreter. That's why this have full access and doesn't go through the same conditions like the first restriction that we had. If you ever find breakpoints, like if you find a way to call breakpoints, it's done. Like you have full access to the server. Why? Because you can literally run anything here. Like I can call OS, and I'm just doing this in one line, but you can do it in multiple lines. So I'm calling OS, and OS I can call system, and from system I would just call ID. Now I literally have access to my server. And if you don't trust me, I will just call bash. Now I literally have a bash in my whole system just from breakpoints. This is the first solution. This is how it looks like in the server itself, like in the challenge itself. Wait, what is my challenge? Yeah, here. So we go Misc pyjails here, and we call Python. So here, if I call breakpoints, it will literally start the breakpoints. And in this breakpoint, you can literally do anything, including import OS, like literally anything. And from OS system, you can think of this as another interpreter which is running on another system. This is the first solution. Second solution is using another function called help. This is also a standard function in Python. In this help, you can do plus. Plus literally starts editor mode. Editor mode is actually running behind Vim. And if you know Vim, you know that if you call this exclamation mark, you can run anything. So I will run bin bash. And I'm right now in bin bash. Else. You see? These are the two ways to solve this challenge. Interesting, right? Knowing the internals of Python is really interesting. Especially, yeah, now you know. Now I will make it a little bit more harder. I will just remove breakpoints and remove help. I will remove both of them. How would you solve it? Okay, I will tell you. Actually, the interesting part is this eval. This eval actually treats for you, I mean, it's just going to look for you, every letter that looks like E as E. But or even if it's a Unicode of E. What I mean by this, do you guys know what is Unicodes? Unicodes are basically letters that looks like letters, like normal letters that you see in the computer, but they're not from 0 to 255 in ASCII. So they have their own code that starts with /U. In web, Unicodes are so fundamental in finding bugs. There is a lot of ways to bypass multiple restrictions with Unicode. Just to keep this in mind. Unicodes are really important. And here, because of eval, we can actually run a Unicode version of breakpoint or help. And then we'll show you how. I can just go. I'm going to show you now from where the challenge is taken and multiple ways to solve multiple challenges. But yeah, so this challenge was taken from this site. This is part of NSS CTF. I will send you the link. So just check. So this code here actually calls breakpoints and can bypass this restriction because the way this blacklist works is by checking letter by letter. And checking letter by letter in this case scenario is not gonna work. Why? Because these letters, they don't have the same ASCII value. But they are doing the same thing. And if you don't trust me, check this. I'm inside the interpreter. Import OS. Try it on the real time? Sure. if I call breakpoint, look, it's not gonna work, ban detected, but if I run it with this, it works. See? And here you can just do whatever you want, so you get the idea, right? So this is pyjails. Pyjails are literally about finding quirks in a language and how to exploit them. Interesting, right? And it's really about this. So the moment you find something in Python which looks interesting, always save it, because at some point in the future you might need it. This is all when it comes to pyjails. Of course, here there is a lot of practice that you guys should do. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about some internals. So object dect literally has all the writable attributes of an object. I wanted to explain these in more details, but I didn't want to confuse you guys even more, because I saw some people are already confused. You will see them in the slides. If you have any issues understanding them, feel free to ask me anytime. For people that have no idea about this stuff, please watch the lecture again. And hopefully by the end, you will have an understanding about these, because these are just wrappers that we talked about, wrappers inside an object, and how or what is the use case of every one of them. These are the most important ones. We have bases, we have class, we have dict, we have subclasses, we have globals, and we have built-ins. These are the most important ones, especially for pyjails. Okay, good. Now, I had another challenge ready, but we don't have time. It's related to image manipulation. But yeah, you might see it in the CTF. Who knows? Because it's easy. It was meant for a workshop, but we might put it in the CTF as well. So yeah, that's it. Do you guys have any questions related to pyjails? You should have a lot of questions now. Too many. Just throw one. Okay. Now you guys officially made it through all the workshops. We are done. And this is for everyone who was here from beginning till the end, for everyone that at least did one lecture with us. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you guys learned at least one thing. If you didn't learn anything, I feel sorry, and I also feel bad. But yeah, I hope you guys learned anything. And you guys did great. I wish you guys the best in cybersecurity in general. If you have any questions in the future, feel free. You have my Discord, my Intra. I'm more active in Discord than Intra, so yeah. Thank you again. And if you have any questions related to the event, you can throw them right away. Or if you don't have any questions now, maybe later. Oh yeah, sure. Maybe Mike.
I don't know if you want to tell this already, but is it like all the different fields of challenges at the same time, or do we have to like get one challenge and then get the next one? So you can access all challenges?
Yes.
Okay.
So just from the beginning, you will have access to all challenges except the bonus challenges. Bonus challenges are meant to test, or they are meant for people that are here on site, so that people that are on site have an upper hand to get more points. Some challenges can be solved only here, and these challenges will only come for like half an hour or like 1 hour, and then they're just gonna go away. But these challenges, I think that we only prepared 2 or 3 or something like this, and they're not gonna have a lot of points. So they will give you an upper hand, but not as much as you think. The normal challenge will have 500 points in the beginning, and the more you solve it, it will decrement in a logarithmic way. And the other challenges will give you like 50 points or like 100 points at most. Okay? There.
About the points for the CTF, let's say one team finishes one CTF like first, it gets 500 points as you said. then another team finishes it. Do the 500 points the first team got get reduced as well? Or do
Yes, everyone
okay.
will get his points reduced because then the value of the challenge will decrement. Not how much points you will get from the challenge will decrement, but to everyone. And you will get the upper hand by solving it first in the leaderboard. So let's say me and him solved the same challenge, but he solved it before me. In the leaderboard, he will be up and I will be under him. You see? But in the end, everyone will get the same point. So let's say you solved the challenge in the first 1 minute and they solved it in the last 1 minute, and we had like the same score. He will win and I will not win. But you will have the same score. Yeah, but this is only considering one challenge. Theoretically, this is so rare because multiple challenges will decrement faster than the others. So some challenges will have like less points than the other. So you might solve like 2 really easy challenges and one guy solved 1 hard challenges and 1 hard challenge, and he might get more points than you. Also, the points will be decremented until they reach 50. If a challenge is solved by 100 people, I forget, if 100 people or 75, they will get 50 points. So everyone gonna solve it again, they will get only 50 points. I mean, everyone will get 50 points, so not only him, also the first guy. Yeah? Any more questions? That's it? Yeah?
I mean, we take part as teams, mostly.
Sorry?
We in the challenges we take part as teams and not so much as individuals. So it's enough if one team solves it, or do all of the members of the team?
No, only one guy have to solve it. Just says, yeah, because right now, if you are an individual, you're not going to have access to any challenge except if you are in another team. And I saw many people that are solos. I'm not sure if this is intended. If not, you have to quit that team and join the team of your friend. Otherwise, you guys are separated and you guys are not allowed to talk with each other. So just to keep this clear. How you see it, I will show you how you see it. Wait, I will close this because some challenges are uploaded and I don't want to spoil the names because the names already gives a lot of hints. It was just a freak of second and we will change the names just because of this. We will, believe me, we will change the names. Okay, so basically, yeah, if you go here to users, no, sorry, teams. I forgot what I wanted to show you, to be honest. I really forgot. Yeah, so if I go here to some teams, you see it has like only 1 member. I'm not sure if this is intended. If it was not intended, then you guys have to join, this is a good team. Who is this? Nice, okay. You and who is the other 3? Because you guys are 5. Okay, Dong. Nice. This is a strong team. I might bet on this team. Okay, yeah. It looks good. It looks good. Yeah, so again, there is 31 teams. 39 teams, yeah. 39 teams in total. If you are in the team alone and you did it by mistake, just delete your team and join your friend team, okay? Otherwise, you're not allowed to communicate with each other. And if we catch, you know what I mean. Again, you guys are not allowed to use any brute forcing mean on our servers, including DOS, including GoBuster, including SQL map, including Nmap, including any tool that does any sort of brute forcing, even if you write it yourself. If I see anything more than 10 requests per second, it means you are running a script and your IP will be banned. So just so that you know. Please?
So is it more like pwntools where you have to promote from your own host?
Yes.
Because like in Porn College you have the virtual environment completely. No, okay.
It's like pwntools, so you will get like URLs, NC, then the IP, and then the port. You're just gonna connect to it and solve the challenge and get like the flag from there or anything. We're not gonna provide a workspace for every individual.
About the brute forcing, before we talked about backtracing. So I would assume when we implement some kind of backtracing, we're going to have probably more than 10 requests per second.
Yeah, most of these challenges, they will also provide you with a local setup, so you can run it and brute force as much as you want locally. When you're done and you have the solution, you can then upload it to the server. Because let's take as an example the maze. I only want the path. I don't care about your trial and error. So the moment you find the path, let's say it's coordinates, you're just going to supply it to the server and it's going to validate it. This is not brute forcing. You can do the brute forcing locally. Nobody gonna tell you anything in that regard. So just don't do it directly on the server. We're going to add the rate limiters, but we're going to know if you are brute forcing. So just in case someone does it, he will get his IP banned and our infra is not going to be down because we have a rate limiter anyways. Yeah. Yeah, please.
My question is, do we have to have something specific installed on laptops, or is it like...
Anything that I recommended in the past couple of weeks, you all need it, or it depends on the category. If you're just going to do Misc, you only need Python. If you're going to do reverse, you need like the tools that I talked about, Ghidra or IDA or Binary Ninja or anything like this, plus a debugger and things like this. And as I recommended for Pawn, just use the Pawn College interface. It's going to solve all your issues, except if you have... no, we don't have any heap challenges, so this will be enough.
Okay, so we can use Mac.
Yeah, it should be fine. I mean, you can access Pawn College even from the Macs in the 42, but we want to see you there on site on the open space better, so please bring your own laptop with you. Yeah. Any more questions? Any online questions, maybe? Anyone online? No questions? Yeah?
Is the hoodie a prize or is it?
This is for now only for the staff, sadly. But we might think of something, because the people, like normal people, they will get real money. So they will get money as a prize. And of course, all of this is for educational purposes, and we just wanted you guys to learn. But we also added like some monetary prizes for people to... This should not be your motivation, again. Your motivation should be to learn. But yeah, we have also money prizes just to pay it off, like for your struggle and learning and so on. It's also a small motivation, but the big motivation should be learning. Another thing, yeah, everyone who did subscribe for the event will get 2 black hole days if you have a black hole system, or the peace system. These 2 days not going to be counted. So don't worry if you are scared about like the events, like you're not going to have enough days or something like this. We will give them back.
When does the team finding stop?
Team finding is not going to stop. You can form a team even during the CTF, but the registration is officially closed. We are not going to accept any more registration. It's also closed from our main website, so you cannot see it anymore. Like right now, if I go here, you don't see it anymore. You can only join Discord server. It's because we have already a lot of people. We have like 120 people subscribed. Like 100 of them will be on site, so it will be big events. It will also be a good opportunity to know more people in the industry, maybe form a team. I also formed a team, like my team, which is currently the first on CTF time. Proud. I'm so proud. This is my team. It's a thanks to my team more than me, to be honest. I just started the legacy and I did carry it on. Yeah, so everything is possible. I still remember the first year. I think we did end up, first year we started 2023. We did finish the year as a position 62, 24, 21, and right now we are first position, and we are going to try to hold it till the end. So everything is possible. You just have to do your best. So yeah.
How much time are you putting into this?
Man, every weekend for the past 2 years. Not every weekend, like I would be lying if I said every weekend, but If we say a year has 48 weekends, 44 or 43 will be CTFs. Yeah. Any more questions? So again, to the question of forming teams, it can be any time, even during the events. We will never close the registration of teams. If you have any problems creating your team, please create a ticket, as I said before, and through the Discord server. I saw that many people are not in the Discord server yet. And they have a question why, like literally why. Okay, we have 63 plus, so we have like 30 people that are not in the Discord server, at least 30 people. And there is some people that didn't accept the rules. You are not gonna be able to see literally anything if you don't accept the rules. Rules, they are under here, and you click on this button here. If you don't click on this, you are not gonna be able to see anything. It's also written here. Please read my announcements. It will give you a role. It will jump to 2, then 1, and it will give you the role. Can you show me? Yeah, these are locked because you can see them. If you don't have this role, you're not going to be able to see them in the first place. Like now, if you click on your profile, click on this. Where is you? Just Google yourself here. Click here, you see you are green, so you can see everything. I restricted a couple of channels because I don't want anyone to write. That's why you see a lock, because only me and the admins have access to write on them. But these, for example, you can all write on them. Also general, everyone can write here. Find team, everyone can write team, can write here, and also memes, feel free to post memes. We will have a prize for the best meme, I'm telling you. I'm not kidding, huh? We will have a real prize for best meme. So, yes, again, please join the server. Timo, I just saw you just joined. Okay, nice. Yeah, any more questions? Any more questions? Okay, then. Thank you guys, and see you in 3 days.